Listen, president's got problems, Democrats got problems, and it starts and ends with health care right now. But for some reason, Republicans aren't just talking about that, they're refighting the culture wars here time and time again, and in poll after poll, as we keep getting farther and farther in the 21st century here, the public tells politicians, leave these social issues alone and focus on the things that really matter right now. And time again, GOP tries, but they fail to heed that advice. I wanted a couple examples. Here's two. Abortion. There's a vote in Albuquerque, New Mexico yesterday where voters defeated a ballot measure that would have banned abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy. Supporters vow to keep on trying, though. Same day, U.S. Supreme Court refuses to halt a lower court ruling allowing the state of Texas to close more than a third of all facilities where women can have abortion access. The new law forces doctors at the clinics to be within 30 miles of a hospital where they have privileges. The actual case likely headed to the high court, but in the meantime, justices will allow the clinics to close, in some cases for good, no matter what the court decides. Now again, I realize that people have split views on abortion. It's not a lopsided sentiment one way or another when you look at the poll numbers. But what is lopsided is that voters don't want lawmakers focused on abortion right now. What's more, GOP can't seem to avoid topics where there is a lopsided sentiment and not in the direction that Republican lawmakers support. Look at the Cheney sister feud over same-sex marriage. Talked about this yesterday. They keep having the fight even though the debate is over for most Americans. And Obi, we talked about this yesterday. To me, I know politics are local, but they become national, right? Explain for the life of me, the Cheney, we have sister against sister. It sounded like they didn't talk to each other before they went on Sunday morning TV, the candidate's sister. And now you got the parents getting involved online. And now you got everybody talking about political calculations. And now abortion front and center? Why don't they just hammer with the soft underbelly of Democrats, which is health care right now?
The Cheney discussions happened before. It's not the first time it's happened. And don't forget, Senator Kerry brought it up the first time in the debate in 2004 when he was running against Bush. And that was the first time it came out in public. This is old news because she's running for office now. It comes to the forefront because of a primary going on and what's going on there.
She knew the question was coming.
Sure, but she didn't change her opinion. She was asked a question and she stayed with it.
Well, according to her sister and her sister's wife, she completely changed her opinion. They said, and they went public with it, that they came to the House, support the marriage and everything else.
I don't know what you're doing Thanksgiving, Richard, but if there was a TV camera standing there, do you want all that aired in public on Thanksgiving?
I will tell you one thing.
This is a private family thing that came out publicly.
We've all had the Thanksgiving drama, but I'll tell you one thing I would avoid doing, and I think the three of you would as well. If I'm running for office and my sister or brother, and this, whatever the case is going to be an element in the campaign and their marital status, I sure as hell am going to talk to them before I go on Sunday morning TV to a question I know I'm getting and tell them what I'm going to say. So at least I'd mitigate the response that would come.
And the vice president and his wife spoke up because they don't want the two daughters fighting in public. I mean, that's just a family thing. That's what that was about.
With everything, with all the problems that the president has on health care, and with all of the focus, and people want jobs in the economy to still be the top priority, the GOP does keep getting tripped up with these social issues when they pop up. And I realize that people, like the people in Albuquerque, wanted to have that on the ballot, so they had that on the ballot. But
this comes
it's got to be frustrating as a guy who runs campaigns.
Right, but that's one of the things you don't control. That's any campaign, one of the things you always hate is that scrum.
Even Wyoming. None of us are experts on Wyoming, but I'm going to try and answer on you. And you, in an informal poll test, tell me how this plays. Republican primary in Wyoming, red state, I get that. She gets the question. She says, you know what? I felt strongly a marriage should be between a man and a woman. But when I saw my sister, and the sister I've known for X amount of years here, I've, like my father, changed my mind. My sister deserves to have happiness just like me. Do you think she's going to lose a vote out of that? I think she'd get the profile and courage thing. She would gain votes out of it. And if she had a scintilla of courage, she wouldn't have sold the sister out. She would have said that. To me, my answer is, would that, if she came to you and said, Obi, what if I say that Sunday morning? Would you have said go for it?
The thing that I tell every client is, tell me what you believe, and we'll decide what we can talk about and how to talk about it. Don't change your opinion. Don't change who you are and what you believe.
Tell me what you believe, then I'll tell you what to say.
No, well, that becomes part of it. Bob Turner was elected in New York City pro-life. We didn't talk about it. When he was asked where he was pro-life or pro-choice, he just said he was pro-life and moved on. I remember distinctly, Bill O'Reilly were in the office one day with a reporter with a microphone in front of him from New York One, and they stood up and they said 3 times, where are you on abortion? Why? What? Went through it again and again and tried to trip him up. He just answered it succinctly and moved on. That's the skill of a candidate, to stay on message and move on and pivot.
But you flip it to a subject these guys hate, which is I think what's in higher supply than this purity test that Republicans have to navigate in primaries is authenticity. And Chris Christie's the poster child for that. Chris Christie, when he says what he's going to say, you believe he means it. And he's not poll testing it, and he's not going around. If he had a gay brother or gay sister, he'd say, but you know what? I changed my mind. I'm for it. And he wouldn't get hurt.
He won in a blue state, and he didn't pass anything for gay. He fought against the gay marriage ban.
But he stopped fighting.
But he
stopped fighting. He didn't challenge the court ruling.
He didn't sign the gun legislation at that point, and he's pro-life.
He also hugged the president.
He didn't talk about those issues and get dragged into that discussion.
He also hugged the president. And you know what? In the end, I don't think it's going to hurt him. But some Republicans says you can't do that. He did it anyway.
He believed because he had campaigned before, and that's what he talked about. That's where he stood.
On both sides of those issues.
Yes, exactly. Straddling. Up next here, you ever turn the sound down on your TV and you make up the words or thoughts of what you see people on the screen saying? Well, the fun you would have had if you were watching the Medal of Freedom ceremony in D.C. today. Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, the best of political friends, and the worst of political enemies. We're going to go inside what I got to figure was an awkward moment. Stay with us.